to link your database created on the Management Studio on the SQL Server engine, you link such database to your Visual Studio on the front end. So this is the back end. I need to log in first. This is my Management Studio, and this is my Visual Studio. So here, I'm going to log into my Management Studio to be able to access the databases. So here, I'm choosing SQL authentication. So my username is SA and the password is this. So connect to it. Once you connect to it, you have access to your databases. So I'll also try and create a project which is going to access the database from the front end. So here I'll do file, then come to open, file, open, then project. So here I'm going to do WPF project, then I'll just call it test NYSC. So then I'll do OK. So you can see it's rolling, it's trying to create that project. So while that is coming up, we have our databases here. You can decide to create your database if you want afresh, but like this is a list of databases I have. If you want to create your database, this is how to go about it. You just right click on that and you do new database, call the database test NYSC again, then do OK. So once you okay that, a new database will be created here. If you don't see it early enough, I mean, once it finishes executing, then you click refresh, but it's already there. Test one NYSC, the new database I just created. So if you want to create corresponding tables within the NYSC database, you just right click here and come here, click table, new table. Then once you do that, what's the column name? You can just say name, and data type you can say varchar 50. Here you can say surname. Here you can say varchar 50 as well. So you come back here, right click to save your table. It will ask you for the table name, so I'm just going to call it bio data. So once you OK it, you find the table under the test NYSC database you created earlier. So, but if it doesn't come up, just refresh here. Once you do the refresh, you can see the bar data has come up under the test NYSC. Now, you should be able to access any of these databases from the front end. And how would you be able to access that? You go back to your Visual Studio. You can see the project we created earlier that we called test NYSC is already here waiting for us. So, and we have our C# codes here. If you scroll down, you see a lot of them that you can actually develop. Now, the next thing is come here where we have Server Explorer, or you simply go to View and then you see Server Explorer. So if you don't see it, just come under View menu here and you have access to your Server Explorer. So click on Server Explorer. Yeah, these were the previous connections I made in the course of one project or the other. But you can see it's all showing red cancelled, which simply means that they have lost connection to the database. To which database? To the databases that are here. So to bring back the connection, what you simply do is you right click and click add connection. So here at this point you need to select the server name or the server instance, the server the SQL Server engine, and here mine is mp4. So yours could bring up several instances. It's just left for you to know on which one you actually created your database. You can see mine here is mp4 in Management Studio. So that's why at this point too I'll select mp4 rather. So, and if you can remember, I logged in to my Management Studio database via the SQL Server authentication. So if you choose Windows authentication, you might not have access to the databases that you logged in with, that you created with the SQL Server authentication. So it's better for me to choose SQL Server authentication because that was what I logged in with when I was trying to access the databases on Management Studio. So here, SA is my username and my password is this. So here, I'm not trying to create a database. I already have some databases existing. So I'm just going to test connection. Here you can see test connection succeeded. It means from Visual Studio, I already have connection instances to the database. So I'll okay it, then I'll okay it here too. So you can see it has given access to this one already to PC Master DBO. So that's one of them. So if you want access to the other ones too, normally all the databases I created are meant to just come up at this point, but for some reason, not all of them are there. But I'm trying to refresh. You can see when I refreshed, this actually came up. So it's, I guess it's scanning for the other ones there. You can see it's showing not responding, probably because I have several applications running on my system. So not all of them might actually come up for now. Or some of them, depending on memory size, some of them may be too large for Visual Studio to come up here. So this is just for example purposes and for you to be able to just see how to connect to your database. So once you do this, all the databases that you have in Management Studio should come up live here. So here, like we have Biodata 2. So if you come up to Management Studio, you'll see Biodata 2, this particular database here. So that's it. So on Visual Studio, you now want to go in and see the exact things you have in, for example, here, show table data. So if you have data in that particular table, it will show up here. You can see it rolling. So you can see you have all this happening there. So let's go and see if it is the exact thing in the database. Biodata 2 table, student info. So I'll do select or edit. So once I do that, you can see one Olani 100 and all of that. So if you go to this, you have one Olani 100 and all of that. So that's a simple way to connect your database from Visual Studio. Thank you.